Hi, I'm Reveena and welcome to my kitchen. This is a very special episode because May 30th is a very special date. I'm a big fan of the show Supernatural, and one of the protagonists on the show is named Jensen Ackles in real life. And he and his lovely wife Danielle have a daughter named JJ, who is born on May 30th, which just so happens to be my birthday and the birthday of another fabulous actor in the show, Mark A. Shepard. So I knew that I had to do a fabulous recipe to celebrate Mark's 50th, JJ's first, and my 20th birthday. So today we're going to be making citrus cupcakes with an orange buttercream. All you're going to need for this recipe is 1 stick of butter, half a cup, of course at room temperature, 1 cup of sugar into which I put 2 tablespoons of citrus zest. I did 3 oranges and 2 lemons, but of course your ratio can vary. And then I just mixed it in very well. If you taste the sugar and it's a little bit bitter, that's totally okay. That's just the oils in the peel coming into the sugar. And of course, make sure to wash your citrus very well because you are using the peel. We're also going to need 1 cup of sour cream or yogurt, half a cup of citrus juice. I did the juice of 1 orange and a lemon. I have here 3 eggs, and then we're going to need 2½ cups of sifted flour, along with half a teaspoon of baking soda, a teaspoon of baking powder, and a teaspoon of salt. So the first step is just to cream your butter very well. This will just take a minute or so because it's really soft. And I'm just adding all of my sugar and mix that in well too. Once your sugar and butter are light and fluffy, we're going to add the eggs 1 at a time. The whole point of adding the butter, sugar, eggs, and steps is so that you create a really light, fluffy base for your cake. Now I'm going to add about 1/3 of the flour mixture, then a bit of the yogurt, a bit of the citrus juice, which I also forgot to mention has a tablespoon of vanilla extract in it. And then I'm going to continue adding another 1/3 of the flour, a bit more yogurt, a bit more juice, and then the rest of the flour. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees, and I'm just using a spoon to dollop my batter into the muffin tins. You'll see the batter is really airy, and that's because of the combination of the yogurt or sour cream along with the orange juice, along with the baking soda. And it's that magic combination which reacts. Baking is just chemistry after all. Tasty, tasty chemistry. And it's those little air bubbles which will give you a really light, fabulous cake, good enough for the King of Hell and for Princess JJ. Now into the oven they go. These actually do really well if you leave them in a minute or 2 longer than when they come out clean. So they'll come out clean after around 20 minutes, but I find that around 25 minutes gives them the ultimate texture. The cakes, of course, came out of the oven. I put them on a cooling rack and they're now cooled. Here I've got half a cup of butter, which you just want to whip up for 2 to 3 minutes in order to get it really light and fluffy before you add the icing sugar, 3½ cups. And I'm actually going to take the icing and divide it into 2 bowls before adding the citrus flavor. Half the icing is going to be child friendly, so we're talking some freshly squeezed orange juice. And the other half of the icing is going to be much more grown up, much more suited for those hellbound with some Grand Marnier. So I'm just going to keep whipping my butter before I add the icing sugar gradually. You always want to lower the speed of your mixer before adding in the icing sugar, or else it'll go in your face. Now you're going to end up with a really dry, crumbly mixture, but that's okay. And yet you still want to keep beating it for a few minutes, which is why this is so much easier to do with a handheld mixer as opposed to like a spoon or a whisk. That would require some serious arm muscle. And hey, if you've got it, like, good for you, but I don't. I've been beating my butter and icing sugar for a few minutes, and it's really crumbly and it sticks together, of course. So I'm going to take half of this and put in a separate bowl. Now into this half, which is of course my Princess JJ bowl, I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of fresh orange juice. And I just squeezed an orange over a strainer into my measuring cup. My last ingredient before this is done is just a pinch of salt. About 1/4 to ½ teaspoon, but do it by taste. And you just want to mix it for a few minutes to get it really smooth. Now I'm going straight onto my next bowl, where I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of Grand Marnier. You can of course do a mix between the citrus and Grand Marnier, because the Grand Marnier by itself really is strong, but delicious. And a little bit of salt into this one. Both icings are really light and fluffy. So I'm going to color them, and I've decided to make 1 purple. And 1 is sort of reddish pink. Guess whose is whose? You'll also note the red balloon, because as far as I'm concerned, hell is red. So So I've got kind of a reddish pink. Unfortunately, you can't really achieve red with food coloring, like pure red, unless you're using the paste, the food coloring paste, and I can't stand the taste. So we've got purple and we've got a pinkish red. And over here, I've just got a piping bag fitted with a spiral tip. And what you do is you put it into a glass and you kind of fold the sides of the piping bag over. And then I'm just going to fill half of it this way with red and half of it this way with purple. And that way when we pipe it out, we'll get a beautiful spiral. That's a good cupcake. It's light and fluffy and citrusy and just the perfect amount of sweetness, and they're really cute. These cupcakes are so good, it's like they're not from this world, almost like they're supernatural. Also, if you're ever watching Supernatural, crying a little bit, because of course it's supernatural and all it does is make you cry, please make these cupcakes. They'll make you feel better. It's that sugar rush. Anyways, happy birthday to anyone whose birthday it is around this time of year. Recipe as ever in the description box down below. Please let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time. Bye!